it's like too complicated for me. At one point,
Facebook. Fuck Facebook. Yo. Fuck Facebook. It's literally like a fucking zoo. Literally, you go on Facebook and all you see is ignorant shit. That's all you see. Like, bro, I go on Facebook and the first thing I'm gonna see is somebody getting clapped up or somebody's nudes getting exposed, something. I don't wanna fucking see that shit. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
No, not at all. Because they bought Instagram and it completely killed their entire first community.
I've never been on Facebook, so no. My mom uses it and my grandparents use it, so that's how I kind of regard it. Just
Facebook still relevant?
no.
Nah, bro, that's old people. That's old people and people who legitimately want to get creeped on. You know what I'm saying? People who want to get their shit seen. Facebook's whack. I haven't been on that shit in years. Man, get off social media. If I didn't need social media, I wouldn't be on it. You know what I'm saying?
You're dependent on social media, you're kind of whack, I would say. Yeah.
Nah, fuck Mark Zuckerberg, bro. He's watching my shit. Mark Zuckerberg, if you're watching, fuck you, G. Seriously. Stay on my business.
It's the only social media that I don't use. Like, it's the least addictive one. Like, it's dead, but it isn't, obviously. I just feel like it's not funny. Like, it's just old. It's like an old out.
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because there's a lot of fake news without evidence in Facebook, and more older people use Facebook and they rely on news without any evidence. So I don't think it's relevant. Like you can't rely on news that doesn't have any evidence.
Barely people are using Facebook these days. They're only using it for the marketplace to buy and sell and stuff. The only reason Facebook is still in the lead and in the top 4 tech giants is because they have acquired many other Instagram and many other apps as well. I think that's the only reason why Facebook as a whole company is relevant. Otherwise,
What about the website itself?
the website, no. I feel it's waste. So I actually uninstalled my Facebook. I deleted my account back when I was in India. But when I came here, I got to know that you need to download the Facebook with a lot of groups to find an apartment and to buy and sell stuff. So that's the only reason I had to download it again. But I think the era of Facebook is over. Now it's more about Instagram, Snapchat, and all. Big statement. Big statement by him. Era of Facebook is over. I hope Mark Zuckerberg, you're listening to him. But I need an answer. But I don't mind if you give me a job. I don't mind working for Facebook. Front-end developer. We can do something together maybe. Yeah, UI UX designer, front-end developer.
Yeah. Still relevant?
Nah. That depends what you're using it for, but no. I haven't used it since I was in like 7th or 8th grade.
I mean for social networking, like sending messages to friends, sending pictures, uploading pictures.
Not for young people, no.
Yeah.
I'd say because the younger generation doesn't really use Facebook, I guess it's getting less and less relevant.
Facebook still relevant? No? Why not?
I don't use Facebook.
No?
I don't think Facebook is relevant for our generation, like Gen Z, I guess, because Instagram and Snapchat are like ways that are easier to like communicate. Like, first of all, express yourself, and then also to communicate with others. I feel like Facebook is more like parents' generation, like people born in like the 70s and 80s, like, right? I feel like they use Facebook way more. That being said, it's still like a valid platform, but I just don't think it's going to be around like anymore soon. I don't think it's going to be relevant soon. Yeah, they are standing on their last leg. I think so. But again, Facebook owns Instagram, so that was a very smart move of them. Facebook itself, yeah, it's not going to last long.
I mean, I stopped using Facebook a long time ago. I don't really use social media like a tool to like talk to my friends. I usually just call it, text them, or just use something like Snapchat instead. But nah, I don't use Facebook personally.
Yeah, no, I feel like Facebook is for old people at this point. We've moved on as a society. The younger generation has moved on from Facebook. I know some people at my work and they're like, I'm only on Facebook. I'm like, then you must only talk to like bots and grandmas, because who the fuck else is on Facebook?
What apps do you use on your phone?
What apps do I use on my phone? I don't know, whichever ones my manager tells me to use. I've been told to abandon Facebook, is for old people. Instagram is better. Twitter, TikTok. That's it so far. And I'm told Twitch is good as well.
No. Yeah, it's for family, right? Yeah, for old people. And for me. Yeah.
No, it's garbage.
Yeah, Facebook is not really a big thing.
Facebook is relevant in the sense of spreading like false information, like letting the older generation kind of like be misinformed about things and having a miscommunication with the younger generation. I think it's relevant I think everything's relevant, but specifically Facebook and the older generation is definitely like got them by the balls, I would say. Oh, can I curse, by the way? You sure? Okay, cool. Yeah, but I think Facebook got people by the older generation by the balls, and I think because of that, there's a miscommunication in like humor, the way that we view politics, or like generational things. So I think it's relevant, but I don't think it's a good relevancy.
My generation, I would argue, is not really relevant just because the majority of us don't use it. But I think it's still relevant for my parents' generation and even like millennials and shit. I would say yes for now. It doesn't have a bright future though.
Facebook? No, I don't think so, because it's only meant for the boomers now, and I mean, all you see is your grandmother on there. And old, ugly pictures of yourself. That's pretty much it. No one's... I guess people still use it, but maybe once the boomers die off, Facebook will be in the trash.
Facebook's still relevant?
No.
Why?
I never even had Facebook, and I'm 19.
Not to me. I think there's sort of a generational gap there. I think... I'm not sure what the age cap is, but I think if you were to look at the demographic of Facebook now, I think it's a lot more dense in the people from like the 35 to like 55 range. My parents, for example, they're older than 55, and they spend so much time on Facebook, whereas myself and most of the people that I am associating with like on a regular basis probably don't spend too much time on that platform. Definitely a lot of just like mainly like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, I guess.
Were you ever a Facebook guy or never?
Yeah, when I was like in 7th grade, maybe.
Yeah. Is Facebook still relevant?
No. I've never been on Facebook. The only people I really know who use Facebook are like old people, like my mom. Facebook is done. It's over with.
No. They're still relevant now, but I think they're losing to like TikTok slowly. But it's still relevant now, but they're definitely on the decline, I feel like. People treat like Instagram and Facebook like a resume, and it makes people like have to present their best self all the time. And that's really like draining on people's mental health, as opposed to other apps like, TikTok or whatever else, where I guess people feel more comfortable being themselves. And yeah, I think people are just really depressed on Facebook and Instagram, and the algorithms kind of thrive off of division and like conflict, and I think people are just getting really tired of it.
Yeah, I think Facebook is no longer relevant. It's slowly dying, and like he said, it's losing to TikTok and apps that are less depressing and less competitive. I also think everyone's tired of the Instagram, Facebook algorithms.
Hell to the fuck no. No, only because, I personally do not like Facebook. I got into some trouble in Facebook when I was like younger.
Relevant.
What? Not for us. I've only made an account because of Messenger, and people made groups on Messenger. I'm really sorry, but to my mom and to her friends, it's very relevant. But even to them, WhatsApp is like their means of communication, because like my mom's family is from Colombia, but so they talk there. But yeah, I think that Facebook is her number 2 app, but for us and our generation, I don't
no.
think so.
My mom definitely is a huge Facebook person, but she, I had to make one because my school, in high school, would post a lot of announcements I had to like pay attention to. And it was only on Facebook for some reason, so I had to make a Facebook account. So I have one, but like I barely use it.
Yeah.
But you don't use it for social?
I use it because it reminds you when people's birthdays are.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
But then also like Snapchat does that
That's
too.
why, like,
it just seems like because
I
the
don't
older
like-
generation really took it over, it's not cool anymore. Or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so. But also for me, I don't like that. Like whenever I change my profile or something, or like I add a picture, it posts it to everyone.
Yeah.
Like I just want to be able to change it on my own. And if I want to share something for people to see, I'll make it public to everyone. Like if I want to change a profile, I don't want it to be seen and shown to
And
everyone.
there's some way to do that.
Is there?
But there's like,
I'm really sorry.
also, the settings seem really confusing.
Facebook, is this still relevant?
No, not at all. Why not? Why not?
I do not use Facebook at all.
Why not?
I don't know. It's I don't know. I cannot use
Facebook.
Facebook is not relevant anymore. Why?
Yeah.
Because we have Instagram and Snapchat and a whole bunch of new shit, and it's just not.
Not relevant. Every time I date a girl, she has Facebook, but it's like, no, it's not relevant.
It's more for business.
It's for my mom. It's for my mom and my stepmom, for them to like learn about politics. Like, no, it's not relevant. It's bad for democracy too.
I would say no. It's lucky that they have Instagram under their umbrella, but I would say Facebook itself is not as relevant.
Why not?
It's just died down with like Instagram, TikTok is very prominent now. I feel like when you ask for someone's contact, you ask for their Instagram or even like what their TikTok content is like, or YouTube even. So I feel like Facebook is not really the prime place to communicate anymore.
I hardly use it. I guess it's good for like staying in touch with people, but
Really?
I mean maybe.
Uh huh.
That's like the theory, but I don't really use it hardly.
Yeah.
It's mostly just like my nothing against the middle-aged relatives like being aghast at something or another.
Oh, you keep in touch with your middle-aged relatives.
I mean, I'm friends with them on Facebook, but I hardly go on Facebook, so I don't know what's going on.
So you're not like posting pictures or videos.
I hardly even post to Instagram.
No, not at all.
Why not?
I think other platforms have just superseded it, you know? And I think all that bad publicity about how they like spy on people and really steal your data. I mean, every social media platform does that, but Facebook, not looking good. Plus, it's just ass. Like, there's really nothing to look at on there that's not like fucking 40-year-old boomers, like weird shit. That's all, it's dead.
No, I don't think so. I agree with Graham because I don't know. I'm not really on there because it's like too complicated for me. At one point, I feel like there's too much things you can do, but it's like overwhelming. And then also like the age group on there is not like my age group, which I guess like if I was like a mom, maybe I'd still be on there, but because like I'm not, I don't know. It just doesn't really interest me, you know? Yeah.
I don't think Facebook's relevant. I feel like the data and like the software and all of it is really outdated. I feel like it's made for people who are like of much older age, but for us teenagers, it's really not meant for it. And all the data privacy rights and issues with that has really like caused a blockade in users. We saw in WhatsApp, for example, where like once they announced that their data would be shared with Facebook, they completely got dropped off. And I just feel like they don't need to be relevant anymore. Now they bought out Instagram, they bought out WhatsApp and all these companies. They have no reason to be relevant anymore. And with their ad campaigns and all that stuff, and just Facebook ads and all the data they collect, I think they're really not going to be a social media company in the future anyways.
Facebook's still relevant.
No. Only for 45-year-old mothers. I don't think, I mean, if we compare it to other social media sites, we only see those fake rumors arise specifically from Facebook. That itself is a really clear sign of where it's coming from, Facebook.
Alright, now is Facebook still relevant?
Nah, I fucking hate that bullshit.
Why?
Cause I hate it. Only old people use that shit.
Hell no. I've never used that. No, fuck that.
Yeah. People.
Corrupt. Played out. It's played out. Yeah.
I think it isn't.
No?
I don't think it's as relevant now, especially for the youth. I think the youth is more on Snapchat and stuff that's a little bit more faster paced than looking at someone's whole biography and things of that nature.
I think it's relevant, but it's only relevant to the demographic that uses it now, and I think that's the older generation. So people like 25 up and more towards like the older people, so people like our parents, grandparents' age. They really capitalize on that market. And other than that, I don't think it's for younger people. There's a bunch of social medias that are much more geared towards people our age.
Facebook.
If you would ask my dad, he would say yes. But if you were to ask me, I would say no. I think it's on its way out, probably. And I think Facebook might actually know this and that's probably why they like diversified and bought Instagram. But yeah, personally, I don't think, unless they change something big, I don't think it's going to stick around for much longer.
Facebook.
I mean, I agree with everyone what they said. I think it's at a huge decline now. Generations now, like recent generations, they're not having Facebook, so it's kind of at its decline. Everyone already said it, like exactly what I was about to say, so it's at its decline.
Facebook is not relevant, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Facebook isn't relevant because they started censoring information, as did Twitter, but Facebook did it before anyone else did it, and they made it public knowledge. Facebook's platform is a bunch of people that are old, right? People that are old don't want their opinions oppressed. They also want clarification that they're right. What a lot of old people are finding are either massive clarifications that they're right or massive clarification that they're wrong. Therefore, half of the platform of Facebook is already fallen off and is continuing to. And plus, Facebook now owns Instagram, so Instagram is Facebook's new platform. Is Instagram relevant? Absolutely.
Not at all.
I mean,
the only time I'm on Facebook is to like talk to my grandma or my aunt or something about school or just my family or whenever a funeral or some shit happens.
Exactly, like
it's not relevant. Like
I mean,
nobody's
it
going like,
depends
oh, add me on Facebook. Like
some niggas do that, but like it's not like as popping as Instagram. Like that's
it's
how
not.
it is.
Everybody has Instagram. You ask anybody here in this park, they'll tell you, oh, I have Insta, or I have Snapchat. Just not Facebook. Like Facebook is like still influence, like it still has like the power to influence like elections, like let's say Donald Trump's. It has like the power to influence elections, like Donald Trump's election, where it was all people who were voting.
Yeah.
Even though it's like still not really relevant, it's weird.
Yes, Facebook is extremely relevant. It is a huge tool that I use for shit posting. Very important because older people are on it. They do not understand irony.
I love Facebook. I'm in like all these whack ass Facebook groups, like really wacky Facebook groups. Like
I think you're the first person that's.
Okay, no, I'm like psychotic. Facebook is like one of my favorite. I'm like Italian American. I joined an Italian American Facebook group.
Really?
I'm in a Simpsons Facebook group. Like I love Facebook.
wow.
I'm the only person who likes Facebook. I know. I'm outdated.
So you found your calling.
Not even my calling. I just think it's like such a wacky thing to just like be able to like find like-minded people and like not give a shit about it. But I don't share anything on Facebook like old people. Like I'm private in groups, but like I don't share things. Except for the election. I was like, please don't vote for Donald Trump. Please don't take away my rights as a woman.
I think I found a lot of jobs on Facebook. Facebook Market page is really relevant for me. But I do think the traditional use for it, which was keeping up with people, it's more with the older generation now.
Still relevant.
Not at all. Well, only for marketplace, if you're trying to sell stuff.
But not for like social networking. Not making friends, talking to your friends.
I like made a Facebook account to sign into video games easier on my phone. That's it. Never used it up for anything else.
So your friends aren't on it?
I have friends on there, but like I would never think to like message them. Fuck Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, suck my dick.
Kind of. I never used it.
You never used it?
My generation rarely use Facebook, but to find different groups. NYU used Facebook and to connect people. And that's how a lot of students started using Facebook for the first time.
So it is still kind of relevant. Now what?
My parents use it.
What?
I mean, I only use Facebook to post pictures. I don't like post like. It's relevant for like locals, like local Twitter. Like that's how it is. That's how I feel like Facebook is. Like it's not really popping anymore. So yeah.
Honestly, I don't really like Facebook. I used to have it, but I deleted it because I just feel like it's just really toxic.
I use it for work, but aside from that, no, not really. We're more of Instagram. Snapchat's a big one. So.
I think it's relevant. Where we come from, not very relevant, but there's communities that use Facebook actively. My mom, she grew up here. She uses Facebook every day. There's like Washington Square events. Like 3 years ago, there was like a whole. When it comes to events, I think Facebook is. I think Facebook's very relevant for the newer age of kids and the generation growing up. Maybe not as much, but it's very relevant in today's culture.
I don't want to say it's relevant in today's culture, but it has its place.
It has
There's
its-
still older
okay, yeah, I
people
don't know.
that use it
You're
in
right.
regards to like meeting and events, but I wouldn't say it's like driving culture today. 'Cause,
Okay.
like, you gotta think that's like Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah,
It's not,
that's more
it's not
driving.
really- It's not really Facebook.
But I think Facebook's alive. I think it's doing well. It'll probably stay around for a few more years, a bit more.
I think it'll stay for a while.
Yeah, I think it'll stay for a bit.
That company knows what they're doing.
Yeah, they do.
They know what they're doing.
No, not the company.
The actual social media app itself.
I'm just saying they're gonna do what they can to keep that to keep that social media app going.
they
That's
have-
what I mean. They're not gonna let it die. You know what I mean? Like, what they need to do, they just need to find something that like blows up.
They're pushing towards
I feel
younger
like
audiences.
It could come back.
And I know in like there's certain communities that are very diehard, and there's some communities that are very young that still use Facebook. There's not very many young communities that use Facebook, but there's the niches that will keep Facebook going when the older generations pass. But I don't think it's gonna outlive Twitter. I think Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that is gonna outlive Facebook definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I had a high school guy come on, a teenager.
Yeah.
He told me Facebook is for ghetto niggas.
Actually, I can see where he's coming from.
That's where he's at.
I see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that? I don't know. I really
Because I see all these Instagram repost things, and I don't want to like categorize ghetto, but people that grow up in like small white town suburban areas could consider that ghetto. Be like, oh, you know, I just cheated on my boyfriend, this, that. Man, I love eating the $1 pizza and fighting the rats in the subway, you know? And to some people may be considered ghetto, to others it may not, but there's certainly a ghetto side of Facebook, if you will.
Yeah, people still use Facebook. I
Really?
use Facebook.
Oh, you still use Facebook?
Yeah, I use Facebook.
Okay. What about you?
I use Facebook.
Relevant.
Yeah, pretty much relevant than other social medias between Facebook and Instagram.
What about you?
I don't use Facebook anymore. It's just for boomers because there is not much content like interests me.
But what?
Yeah, it's for all people. For me, Facebook is for all people.
What about you? Facebook?
In Japan, I guess so. People using Facebook, but I don't.
You don't use it?
I don't.
Can you don't use it? You don't fuck with it?
I don't use it, but I know it's relevant.
Is it?
To the older generation.
I think it's relevant. I think it has its place. I think that its target demographic right now is a little bit older than it was traditionally, so that 30 to 60-year-old range. But I mean, I don't see it going away anytime soon.
Facebook's definitely still relevant, but only to keep in contact with family. But other than that, it's a wrap. Like, there's nothing to it.
Facebook's not relevant for young people. I feel like it's relevant for older people, for families and family reunions and shit like that, but it's not relevant anymore.
Oh, but maybe with like older people.
But not with you.
No.
Okay, when you're a college freshman, Facebook is relevant because you post on the class of 2020 or class of 24 page, or whatever your class is, and that's how you find roommates, or that's how you find, you know, people that go to your college.
So you are registered for it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Facebook.
Oh yeah, I've had Facebook since like 2012, 2011. Yeah, I've had it for a while.
I think it totally is. I mean, I use Facebook and Instagram the most. I feel like it's very good for connections. I keep my Facebook pretty professional, and I have a lot of people on there who can help me advance my career, and also family members, because there's a lot of older people on Facebook, so it just attracts like a wider audience, for sure.
The younger generation might not think Facebook is relevant because, you know, it's not what's popping more.
What about for you though?
For me, I don't really like Facebook, but you know, everybody here uses Facebook, especially in like I don't know, to me, like more ghetto niggas use Facebook and shit. And like all the fucking young girls from the hood, they got Facebook. They keep in touch with all they men's, all that.
What don't you like about Facebook?
I mean, I don't know. It wasn't appealing to me, and I don't know. Just don't use it.
Facebook? Yes, still relevant.
Yes, I believe Facebook is very relevant.
Artists, Facebook is definitely relevant.
They don't want you to know.
What you got, like a Facebook page or something?
Yeah, I'm an artist. I have a Facebook page.
All of you, Facebook is relevant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Facebook not in my personal life, but it's definitely
No, it's in
relevant.
mine because I'm an artist, so I use it every day. I have to advertise on it. I have to put everything on it, my music, everything. I have to put all my content on there and Instagram. So yeah, they're all relevant.
So Go ahead.
I feel that Facebook is irrelevant because it brought people together. Like, you can find all those people who you could never find before. All those who you lost touch with, Facebook brings you back together. Huh?
Keep in touch with your high school friends?
Not really. I mean, I have them. I have them on my page and things, but not really. Not really. Very rarely.
Yes, it is. I only use Facebook for family purposes, but Facebook is relevant. I see a lot of people using Facebook and utilizing it to, you know, for advertising, and I guess they can monetize it better than you can if you were to be on Instagram and stuff.
Yes. It depends. Yeah, like if you're messaging and shit, like plenty of people still use Facebook, but it's not like Instagram. Like Instagram and TikTok are probably the two biggest platforms. Snapchat is also very big, but it's probably TikTok and Instagram.
Of course.
It is.
We're citizens of America and Facebook. Our digital online imprint is a passport. And Zuckerberg has your best interests. Maybe.
No.
Yeah, Facebook.
I mean, it is. It is just to like mess with people when you're trying to rent out a room.
Yeah,
I think when you're trying to rent out a room, you can just mess with people on Facebook, but that's it.
So kind of like a classified section.
Yeah.
Not for like meeting friends or anything.
No. Unless
What
you're
about you?
60.
Yeah. What about you?
It helps me book rooms out, so I'm chilling.
So it used to be really good for events. It was best for events, you know, like if there were shows going on, Facebook was a good way to realize that, you know. But now that there are no events, it's not as good.
Not for me. For some people, I'm sure it is. Personally, you know, you have all this stuff with data mining and privacy issues, but frankly, we're pretending that this issue is exclusive to Facebook. Every service we use is doing the exact same thing. You have Instagram, you have Snapchat, you have all these like major services that we also use, and we like pretend to have this like objection towards only Facebook, which makes no sense to me. So like generally, it's a combination of those factors.
It's a boomer household.
My friends aren't there. It's like a hive of weird like malicious ideas. And generally speaking, like the UI is like super weird and I don't like looking at it. So generally speaking, it's more like just the fact that I never had a reason to get an account. Like I got Instagram, for example, because my friend was like, yo, like let me DM you there. And I was like, all right, makes sense. You don't have some way to contact me. Otherwise, look at it.
To add on, if anyone's seen like The Social Dilemma,
Oh my God, yeah.
it's just like perfectly outlines how all these companies, all these big tech companies are just have information on you that isn't necessarily used in a malicious way, like to get, like, for example, like I don't know, for something like extravagant, like getting a hit on you. It's like that's not going to go to that extreme. It's just like they have these profiles on you through and then through the system that we've established, like as a offshoot of capitalism, like surveillance capitalism, where they have this, where everyone where your data has become a commodity.
Exactly.
So then you are a customer no matter what.
Right. And you're
whether or
not,
you consent to it.
It's not even like you're a customer, but your attention is the commodity is what really scares me. Is that they're developing all these like algorithms and applications, I guess, that literally like work underneath the surface to consume the most amount of our time as possible and alter what we think is what we want to do. I mean, they alter what we think like our next thing is gonna be into like, oh, I should get this product. Like, we're no longer, I mean, frankly, in a couple years, I believe it will be past like the era of free thought. I mean, our literal mentality is being subverted by these like subroutines and like algorithms, and it's terrible and it's terrifying. But it's not specific to Facebook. Is the key message I'd like to I guess just portray here, is that it's everywhere, and in our modern society, there's no escaping it, which is really terrifying.
For your information, dude, without Facebook, I wouldn't be able to reconnect with people I thought I'd never see or hear from again. So, regardless of what you think about Zuckerberg, love him or hate him or really, really hate him, Facebook's a godsend, so's Instagram. And anybody who says otherwise is giving you a bunch of nefarious bullshit.
Facebook's still relevant? Yeah, because Facebook Market is what Craigslist used to be.
Oh, people are selling stuff on there?
Yeah.
What kind of things you buying on there?
I be buying all sorts of shit. I bought one of the massage guns the other day.
Really?
Yeah, dumb cheap. I got it for like a dub, like $20. And I know they be in Best Buy for what, like 80? Whatever the fuck. Yeah, I got it for like a dub, like gas as hell. And I be in furniture and shit. I be selling my own shit too. I be selling like my own like clothes. I be getting rid of like shit. Like Facebook Market is what Craigslist used to be. So that's why Facebook is still relevant. And also like Facebook can be kind of funny sometimes if you're in the right groups. I'm not in the right groups, but I got friends who are in the right groups. You know what I'm saying?
What kind of tips do you have for people using Facebook Market? Because I've never really used it. I mean,
so you just gotta stay local. You gotta like fuck with like the settings, because like Facebook Market, you'll look at some shit on Facebook Market, you'll be like, wow, like this is a great price, like I really need this, like this, literally like this thing, and like it's like shipping, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, nah, I just wanna pull up to someone's house or like meet someone at a park and get something, you know what I'm saying? So like you gotta like fuck with the settings, you gotta like fuck with like the filters and shit like that, and that's how you find cool shit. I found like a really cool, like I got like a fucking like trunk, like a upholstered like leather like trunk on Facebook Market, like stupid cheap.
Do you pay in cash or credit card?
Yeah, cash. I mean, some people like if you talk to them, they might have like Cash App or like Zelle or something like that. But yeah, I usually do cash. Scammers? Yeah, there's scammers on Facebook Market. Yeah, there's scammers on Facebook. But usually like someone will like comment like under the post, be like, this person's a scammer, like don't fuck with them, you know? Have I been duped?
Yes.
Nah, not yet.
Not yet? So
It's probably bound to happen. Actually, no, low-key I was one time, because I got a bike, and the person said it was like fine, it was great condition or whatever, and I rode the bike, like before I gave them the money, I rode the bike, it was okay. I thought it was a little iffy, but I was like, I need a bike, so I'm gonna just give them the cash, and if I want to change up things on the bike, I can get other shit for the bike, right? So I wake up in the morning, and the tire, the back tire on the bike is like flat. And I'm all like, damn, let me just pump some air into it and call it a day. Nah, like I was riding that bike and it went flat. Like there was like glass like in the fucking thing. So like, yeah, they kind of had me on they kind of fucked me up on that shit. So I kind of just like left that bike somewhere for someone else to take. So yeah, I have been duped on Facebook Market.
Relevant.
Facebook sucks.
So it's not relevant.
No, it's relevant. It's just like the worst thing. People don't need to be that connected to just have like bits of their lives just like spam, like any sort of privacy. Yeah. No, I have to use it because that's how I find out about like events and parties that are going on. So it just sucks. So I have my feed disabled, so I can't post anything. And I have everyone unfollowed, so I don't have a news feed. But I still need it for access to like groups and for access to events and stuff. I try to stay away from it as much as I can, but it's become like a necessity and like something that you need in order to be like relevant today socially. It really sucks. I hate Facebook so much. I was just talking to my parents about the other night. I had this stream. I was in a grocery store and I ran into Mark Zuckerberg and I spent 30 minutes in the stream following around the store telling him how much he sucked. I was like talking shit about his coding ability. I said that like he was like the worst thing to happen, and I said that if I could cure cancer or Facebook, I would just cure Facebook.
Relevant?
If you're 30, sure. Yep.
Are you on there?
No, I'm not.
Are you like, uploading pictures and
No, not on Facebook. Not on Facebook.
No, Facebook is not relevant. By relevant, I would assume you mean with like the teens. So definitely not. I've never been on there once, and every picture I've seen of it is all old people. So that's my opinion on it. So I would say no.
Facebook is only for pictures of you when you're babies and for your family members. It's not for teenagers.
Facebook. Fuck Facebook. Yo.
Fuck Facebook!